Welcome to Chapter 7, Giving Constructive Feedback, part of the Leadership Excellence book. Let's take a look at how to give feedback correctly. Let's start with the decision flowchart. We've gone through setting expectations. We've coached and trained to the skills of the job, and they're not meeting expectations. Now, this may be simply one expectation out of many. You may have gone to the right side for a number of expectations, but there's one in particular that they're not meeting. So this is not about everything the employee is doing. It's about one thing the employee is doing. And you've got to give them constructive feedback. Let's talk about what this ain't. All right, this ain't about hearsay. Sorry for the bad grammar. It's not about hearsay. This is about direct observations on your part. The only exception is when it's a fellow manager or a peer whose observations you trust. All right, it cannot be hearsay. It can't be somebody in another shift or another department. It has to be what you have observed. Why? Because your credibility is on the line. And when you say stuff like, and I've seen managers do this, Joe, I want to talk to you. Some people have some concerns about your behavior. Well, what people? I can't say. Psst, you just lost your credibility. Go on. Why? Because they don't know if you're telling the truth. And you're not willing to share who's got a problem with them. All right. And furthermore, that's just silly. All right. What are you doing listening to hearsay when it's your job to be observing these people? Period. All right. It isn't about opinions. You have a bad attitude. What does that mean? It means nothing. It's worthless. One person's bad attitude is another person's maverick and creative soul. So it's not about opinions. It is not a chance to get stuff off your chest. All right? That's not what constructive feedback is about. It is never about that. Nothing in this performance management process is about you getting stuff off your chest. That's a you issue. That's up to you to take care of before you get in front of that person. Critically important. Your credibility is on the line. Okay, it's about you observing firsthand what the employee is doing that's not meeting the standard. It's about you sharing facts and only facts. It's not about opinions. It's about what you saw them do or not do. It's about being extremely specific. Hey, you didn't do the job yesterday. What does that mean? You were at 97% yesterday. Okay, whole different meaning, because I know that I'm supposed to be at 99. As an employee. Okay, that's specific. It's about you allowing the employee to take the information and use it as he or she sees fit. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I can't push my agenda. No, you can't. That's not what this is about. Think of a GPS. A GPS does not say, hey, dummy, you should have turned here. It just says, take a left, next intersection. All right? It doesn't render judgment. It just tells you what needs to be done. That's feedback, all right? It's about you training people so well and setting solid expectations that the employee will know exactly what to do with the feedback without you pushing it. They'll know that 97% is not acceptable. They got to be at 99. Okay, they know that. Treat them like an adult. Treat them with theory Y. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. Ask Google. Right? But treat them like an adult that knows what they're doing and just simply give them the feedback. All right? Let's go through the steps for giving constructive feedback. Share with the employee the constructive purpose of the feedback meeting. My constructive purpose is, and you've seen this before, and it's so critically important that you always, especially now because you're trying to correct someone, it's so critically important that they understand you're doing this to help them. This is not punishment. Share your objective feedback. It must be objective observation firsthand. I notice that you're taking 15-minute breaks for the last 3 breaks. Our break times are 10 minutes. I don't know about you, but I don't think you got to push that one. I think that's kind of obvious what the issue is, and it's up to the employee then to deal with it. You don't need to push it. Okay, so you state the impact of the person's behavior on performance. When you are late from break, it means someone else has to watch your machine, which slows down everyone else's productivity. Okay, That's why it matters. Ask the employee how they view the feedback you've given them. All right. What is your perspective on what I've presented? That's your safety valve. Because maybe the employee who's taking 15-minute breaks was asked by another supervisor if they could step in their office for a minute and answer a question about yesterday's production. And maybe you didn't see that. And maybe this is a safety valve to protect you and the employee. So you don't get in a situation where you're giving constructive feedback and they feel bad when they were doing their job and they were doing what was being asked of them by someone in management. Okay. Number 5, I'm going to tread on this one very lightly. Make a request or suggestion. I strongly recommend you do not get in the habit of doing this, because now you're pushing your opinion. You're pushing what you want. All right. If it's a lighthearted feedback situation where you can insert a request or suggestion and it's not a big deal and it won't be perceived as you being directive and telling them what to do, go ahead and do number 5. But on average, I do not recommend it. It's there in case you absolutely need it. Number 6, check for understanding. Have the employee summarize his understanding what was presented. Bottom line with all of this, folks, this meeting, this constructive feedback meeting, should not take very long. If you get right to the point, stick to one issue and state the impact and get their viewpoint and check for understanding, it shouldn't be more than a couple minutes. Don't belabor this. This is the first step in getting them to correct it. You're taking a very strong stand that says, I believe in you. I'm just going to give you the information and let you deal with it. Because the alternative is you go to number 5 right away. I need you to do this. What you're really saying is, I don't believe in you, so I'm going to tell you what to do. That's kind of like mommy-daddy management, and I don't think any of us want that. Okay, with that, that's constructive feedback. The bottom line is it's the first step in trying to correct employee behavior. It's not about pushing what you want from the employee. It's about simply letting them know where they're at, because they know where they're supposed to be because you've trained them very well and set clear expectations. All right. The best feedback is always given with no strings whatsoever. So the employee can take it and process it and do with it as they will. With that, good luck. Hager out. Thank you.